Hey there, everybody. Christopher Franks with Texas West Capital. It is just after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, July 16th, 2021, in beautiful yet overcast once again, Boerne, Texas, just north of San Antonio. Great place to live and raise your family out here. Hopefully, y'all are doing all well, doing all right, doing well, whatever. Man, it's the beginning of a Friday, isn't it? Who's here already? Claudio, Scott, Brian, good to see you guys. Data checked in. Anyway, yeah, so, we're going to talk about Bitcoin here this morning. We're going to talk about the dollar. We're going to talk about, we'll probably talk about USD CAD because, man, just making so much stupid money off that for the last month plus here now. And, a few other things, gold, silver, oil, whatever else we can kind of get our, the indexes, the equities indexes, whatever else we can kind of get our hands on. Kind of hopefully give you guys a better understanding of what's going on with the markets. By the way, if you're an idiot, go ahead and leave. And I only mean that half jokingly. I get comments from dumb people that say things like wrong again. And I have to sit there and laugh because I don't tell y'all what's going to happen. I say, here's the situation. If we go through this validation level, then we're likely doing this. If we drop through this invalidation level, then we're likely doing that. And I still get the dumbest people commenting saying wrong again. Wrong about what? It did one or the other. Your choice of how you want to enter it. Your choice depending on what makes you the trader or investor that you are, determining where you want to enter. God. Life, man. But hey, you know what? Seriously, guys, if that's your intention, if that's the kind of person you are, gladly show yourself to the door because the rest of us here are making money and trading and doing things that we need to do. You clearly are just trying to get some toddler-like attention online. By the way, this rant is specifically for Hank, just because he likes to hear my rants. So I don't do them often, but when I do, there you go. Who else is checked in here now? Rasta, what's going on, man? Claudio, yes, I finally got the glasses here. It's been a experience. They're progressive lenses, so those of you that have glasses and especially have progressive lenses, the struggle at first. So we'll see how this works out for me. But nonetheless, I can see a lot better now, which is really great, guys. Let me see here. Ignore these oxygen thieves. Oh, I like that, oxygen thieves. Hey there, Michael. Good to see you. Bianca, always good to see you as well. Jack, checking in from Amsterdam. What's up, my friend? Good to see you checking in. As always, guys, don't forget, you can join us here at howtotradetowin.com. We'd love to have you there, guys. We've got just such a, I talk about everything we do, right? So tier 3, you get 3 live streams a week. The first one on Mondays is about Wyckoff. The second one on Wednesdays are tips, tricks, and techniques to get you trading rules-based strategies or deeper explanations of things for you. And then Thursdays are Elliott Wave. And I mean, you get that. You have well over 100 hours of video education there, chart requests, chart critiques, all this stuff. We also have that macroeconomics finance channel, global finance channel that I add to when I get a chance. But, I always use it there to explain more in depth a lot of these concepts that hopefully you don't generally follow crypto Twitter and the rest of social media about because they're usually wrong on it. They have no clue how finance really works. And it just all this, but really it's about the people that we have there. And I think it's so great because so many of our members have been with us for a few years now. Many of them have been with us since we started almost 4 years ago. And I think that just builds a great group of people, very respectful, very helpful, everything else that just helps when new people come in. They just find out it is that way. And, it's hard to leave, I guess. But that's fantastic. But, hey, listen, guys, if you haven't joined us yet and you'd like to jump in there, whether you're a new or a current member, you can jump on with this code here, 50% off tier 3. And that'll get you an annual, or now it'll get you a 6-month as well. You can get a 6-month if you don't maybe have the extra few bucks for an annual. The goal being that at least with 6 months, you should learn more than enough to become somewhat profitable. And then, if you choose to stick with us, obviously, you can. But even if you don't, man, you'll learn more than enough in that 6 months to really, if you're really willing to learn, guys. You know, I can put out all this information to do all this for you all I want, but unless you've got an open mind and you're willing to listen and you're willing to accept that as a new trader, you really have no clue what's going on. If you can be humble about that and be really serious about learning, it's all there for you. The only thing I can't do is force it into your head. So, you know, jump on it, guys. We'd love to have you there. howtotradetowin.com. That's where we do it, all right? Let me see here. Who else has chucked in? Oh, Jack's saying Tier 3 is amazing value for the money. Made him some money already. Yeah, fantastic, man. I love hearing that. Thank you for saying so. Duff says, what's going on, Mace? Is visiting in-laws, extended family nearby in Hollywood Park this weekend for the first time. Turns out it is as nice around here as you're always saying. It is, man. Hollywood Park, yeah, that's over there just around the north side almost, just south of Stone Oak. So, yeah, very nice area over there. I like it. It is a great little city here, guys. Jack says, fantastic customer service with TWC. I love to hear that as well. Let me see here. Rasta says, since they've been a Tier 3 member, they have not taken a single trade in about a month. They realized how mediocre of a trader they were, learning mode. Well, as you know, Rasta, man, you know, we got tons of video education in there. We pump out more content in a month than most people can deal with. So there's always something for you guys to learn out there. But what's going on with Bitcoin here? So, you know, still kind of trying to figure this out. You know, everybody's guaranteeing you, well, most everybody's guaranteeing you the price is going to drop. And it may, you know, we continue to talk about this. It may drop, but it does not necessarily have to do so. And that's the key, guys. There are levels and things that could happen that could keep it from doing so. And, you know, really it is this swing low right here. I've been talking about this for a while. It's this, what is this on Kraken here? It's 30,179. If we drop below that, it still doesn't guarantee that that we have to drop, but most likely, if we're dropping below that, we're going to drop below the swing low here, and then that is most likely going to take us to a minimum of 24,000. Could take us lower, you know, quite a bit lower. But that would be the minimum. We'd have to see how it plays out as it's doing it there. But while it remains above this level, there's still possibility. So the possibility I'm looking at the moment in terms of Elliott Wave is that we've got this leading diagonal for a 1 here. And then this is a flat correction. So we have an ABC down for A, ABC up for B, and then we're working on this ending diagonal. So it's an ABC 1, 2, ABC 3, 4, AB, and then, you know, we might have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 5, or this might even be 4 of 5, and we might still come on down to the S2 pivot, which is just the 70.5 retracement. So that 70.5 retracement, as I've talked to you guys about, is that institutional level. And so that finds a lot of confluence with the 4-hour S2 pivot here. So we may still come down there. For right now, though, we've got this great bullish engulfing candle here. So remember, bullish engulfing has to come at the bottom of a downward trend, okay? And that's what we have here. And we've got a ton of room here on Stochk RSI and RSI, you know, for price to continue to rise. If we jump in here real quick to the 1 hour, you can see here, I didn't draw it on here, but we have bullish divergence here on the 1 hour. So you've got bullish divergence on the 1 hour, which results, you know, there is part of the 4 hour bullish engulfing candle. You know, that's a good bit of reason to at least watch this for some possible movement up here. Now, as you can see on the 1 hour, we're kind of crossing back over bearishly here. It was a good big move up. So we'll see what happens. But again, bullish divergence to get that bounce ends with the 4 hour bullish engulfing. Now, a bullish engulfing, contrary to what most of crypto Twitter and the rest of social media want you to believe, it is not a reversal candle. It is a pause candle, okay? Potentially a reversal. If you get continuation up, follow through to the upside, then it will most likely mean it's a reversal. But many times you'll see something like this or some other what people call reversal candles, and instead of reversing, they're just a bounce up and then they're a continuation down. They're a pause. So you need the follow through after that candle to kind of, you know, confirm that potential reversal going on there. Now locally, what do I have? Locally, I have this descending resistance here. And so if we break out above that, that's your first, your first hyperlocal clue that maybe the bottom might be in. If price can break out above the descending channel EQ here, then your target becomes the descending channel resistance, which almost finds confluence depending on how long it takes to get up there with the 4-hour pivot. And so then your next step is that you have to then break out. We're looking for an impulsive breakout above this descending resistance. And if we can do that, you have a pattern target here of $3,641.40 above the point of breakout based on the height of the channel here. Now, the good thing about that is if we follow through with that, that will take us above this level right here. We need to get above this $35,948.90, because getting above that level indicates that we're likely going to take out this level up here. And taking out this swing high means 1, 2, 3, 4. We've at least got 5 waves. See, if it doesn't head above this swing high up here, and instead you drop down below this one, this locks in this 3 waves up. That's corrective. That's 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. And that's why I'm saying that we should then be heading below the spring and lower with that. But if we get above this red line up here, then that should carry us above this swing high, which means a minimum of some kind of leading diagonal here. Or more so what I'm looking at, which is potentially this 1, 2 here as an expanded, or as a flat here. So then you get 3, and your 3 would head on up here toward this 4,200, 42,100, 42,200 kind of area for your wave 3. The importance of that is it takes you above this swing high here. And if this is the bottom here, then this is wave 4, this is wave 5 to complete it. So breaking out above wave 4 will be your first big clue that this big macro, more macro-ish bottom is on here, is done here from back in June 22nd. And then you'll want to see it carry higher, of course. But those are the levels you kind of have to go through. Those are the things you got to go through to make this, guys. I'm not telling you it's going to go up. I'm not telling you it's going to go down. I'm telling you that right here, we still have a good argument with what may be a spring and a test right here. We don't know for sure if it is, because we got to get back out above this level here to confirm it. But the spring on this very high volume here, which was still lower than the volume on this drop over here, which is what you want to see. But it's still a spike of volume there. And to come back and retest it on significantly lower volume, that's what you want to see. That's a successful test. All right? So that's if you need a reason for why the bottom may be in, I think it's probably one of your best reasons right there. And, of course, we can get the count coming down, that get us that. So that's kind of where we are at the moment with that. But this, the current right now, this nice large 4-hour bullish engulfing candle that's combined with the 1-hour bullish divergence is really a good thing to see. You can see how the volume kicked up as we got into this drop here. Then we bounced back up, and then it dropped back down. And again, we got volume again on this low down. So we've got volume kicking in down here at the bottom, which is just basically this kind of cluster area right here. So it makes a lot of sense, that we would get some kind of volume coming in, and that's what we're getting. So we definitely want to see that. Excuse me. Let me see here. What's going on, Hank? Need to pay attention to people in a meeting? Yeah, thanks for the nice glasses comment there. I appreciate it. So I mean, we're kind of, we pulled back here and trying to make its way up there. So there's some good possibility on that we might be breaking out and heading higher there. But, again, really, you've got to be cautious of more downside. I think at least until you get above, really, it's clearly this area. I give you this one because getting above this swing low will likely mean that you're going to get above, or this swing high likely means you're going to pull yourself above this one here. But it's really, this is your swing high you have to get above. Get above that, again, this is no longer just 3 waves, which means, I mean, it could overall still be corrective. You can get, an A, B, C, or, WXY for a W, and then an X, and then a Y, 3 more up. Or you can get, this is a 1 here, and then you get an A, B, C as B. So this 1 would be A, and then A, B, C would be B, and then you'd have C still up. I mean, so you could still end up coming down, but you first need to get above this swing high, And then you need to put your eyes on this one up here. If you can get above this one, it should all be said and done. You should be headed out. At that point, you're breaking out of this range right here. And you should be good to go. So your two major levels are this swing high right here at 36,416, and then followed by this one up here at can't get my cursor to get on it there exactly. 41,341.80. So that's what you want to do. You want to get that one and then that one, and if you do that, then you're all but guaranteed that the bottom is most likely in. Until that time, you still have to be careful that it could fall down below that swing low. Head down there the way that we've been talking about for seems like ever now in a day, right? But hey, you know, if you want to be bullish on Bitcoin, that's how you start right there. But don't get emotional about it though. You know, make sure that you're in. If you're not in already, you should at least wait for a breakthrough of this line. That doesn't mean it's going to continue up, but it means it's increasingly more likely than if you were to enter right here before you break out. You see what I'm saying? If you enter right here, it could just roll over and head back down. If you here, it could still do it, but at least you have a reason for entering here. You have a breakout of this resistance from the 11th of July. So about 5 days of resistance there. You know, again, breaking out through the EQ doesn't mean it has to go to the descending channel resistance, but you know, it increases the odds that it may, especially because you've got this downtrend coming down here. So, you know, again, these ways are ways to enter. You know, if you guys are looking for guarantees about what price is going to do, you're not going to get that. Not from me. And if you get it from anybody else, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, you should run away fast. Because they don't know what, either they're purposely lying to you because they know that they can't guarantee it, or they really think they can, which I think was probably even more dangerous as a trader, is to, believe your own nonsense in terms of that. You know, there are no guarantees in the markets. The best we can do is base our understanding on things that we know and then use really good risk management to protect ourselves. If you're not using that, that great risk management, guys, you are just asking to lose money left and right, okay? I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, but if I use a stop loss, it gets hit all the time. Well, one, you're probably not using it correctly. Two, even if you are, if you're doing proper risk management, it's not a big deal. It's very minimal loss to your account. But, new traders, they don't know what they're doing anyway. You don't know what you don't know. So you hear somebody say that and you're like, yeah, man, that happens to me too. Man, I need to take this guy's advice and not use a stop loss. Man. I've never met a trader, guys, who has been successful in any consistent form not using stop losses. It's just, it's ludicrous to think that you could be. Because you're necessarily allowing price to drop a lot further than it has to. And why, you can get multiple trades in a row and do great and feel like you're great and on top of the world. And one trade goes against you and no proper risk management, no well thought out logical stop loss means you lose all that you just made over those last 10 trades and potentially more. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to yourself? Don't do that, okay, guys? So, hey, there we go with Bitcoin. Let's see here. We've got the dollar here. The dollar's still kind of doing its thing. I've got two possible counts at the moment here. So I have this black count, which suggests that price may be printing a flat correction here. So an A and then a B. And then we'll get 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 as a C. Potentially down here toward this S1 pivot area right now, which is 91.79. But at least toward the the lows here of the range, okay? Now the other thought is maybe we've got 1 and then 2 completed down here as this red count shows. And then we've got a 1, 2 completed. And now we're working on 3. And if that's the case, we've got a minimum wave 3 up here of this R3 1 hour pivot up here at about 1 hour R3 pivot up there around 93.47. So it's just going to depend, do we break out above this local swing high here or not? This is 92.829. If we break out above that, the red count should be good to go. Black count should be invalidated here locally. So we should be looking to head up. Again, as the dollar continues to rise, that means anything else denominated in dollars, guys, is going to feel some downward price pressure because it takes less dollars to buy those things, right? A rising dollar is deflationary, not inflationary, right? So things like Bitcoin and anything else, that's denominated in dollars is going to feel. Now, that doesn't mean it has to drop immediately or anything like that, but what it does mean is the price on those things is going to have a lot more trouble trying to head up. So you want to be careful of that, all right? So continue watching your DXY here. There's a lot of people out there that have no clue, how the monetary system works, how, central bank intervention makes things happen. Again, when you look at things like QE or interest rates or, the yield curve, all that stuff. And so they say, oh, well, you don't have to worry about the DXY. That doesn't have anything to do with price. Well, it actually does. It has a lot to do with price. Because this is the value of the dollar that things are denominated in, right? So if the value of that dollar rises or falls, it's going to have an impact on downward or upward price pressure for that thing. It has to happen. Hey there, Diego. Always good to check you in, buddy. Yeah, some volume coming in there. We talked about that, man. You got that bullish engulfing 4-hour candle, and then you also had at that same time that bullish divergence on the 1 hour. But we've got those levels we got to watch, as you know, since you're in with us at TWC. As price continues to break out there, if it does, it's got to get through those other levels, and then you got that next target. So we'll see what happens with all that. But let's see here. Yeah, so we've got that going on now. Let me pull up some here. I've got GBTC here. And so GBTC is interesting. If I'm looking at this, I think there's an argument to be made, and it's similar to Bitcoin's current count, in that we've got this 1, 2, right? And then we may have a 3, 4 right here, the 4 being a flat correction here. So you get this ABC down, followed by an ABC up, followed by 1, 2. It's an ABC is 1, 2, ABC is 3, 4, and then an ABC is 5 here. So ending diagonal on that, you can notice that here on the daily, prices dropped right here into this daily demand structure here, bounced right off the EQ. Daily Stochk RSI is crossing bullishly right now, or trying to. We'll have to see how it ends by the end of the day. Trying to down here and oversold. And then you've got, I don't know, how's this here? Is this? Oh, you've got some slight hidden bullish divergence here. You do have some slight hidden bullish divergence. Oops, hit the wrong thing there. On the daily RSI here. Oh, doggone, I just did it again. Trying to double click on that stupid thing and that thing pops up right in front of me. There we go. First world problems, right, guys? All right. Let's kind of pull that down a bit. Can't really see that. But yeah, so we've got this going on here. There's some potential that GBTC might be bottomed here. And if it is, well, obviously, we're going to look for some movement up. Now, right here locally, this looks like we may have a 1 and then ABC, ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, maybe. So there might be an expanded flag going on here as well. But you're going to want to see that price head out and take out this previous swing high here at $27.47, $27.47 to be the first clue that that bottom may be in. If we can get an impulsive breakout above the pivot and this swing high right by it there at $30, that'll go a long way towards suggesting that this might be the bottom here. And so then, of course, you want to take out what would be wave B here if this is A, B, and then C. And that would then get you, just in case you guys are wondering, maybe you want to do some longer-term investing here with GBTC. So we get you a 1, 2, 3 up here. Look at that. Perfect confluence with the R1 pivot on the daily. And we get us a 5 up here around 39.48. Oh, I'm sorry, not a 5 right there, around $37 minimum. That'd be your minimum wave 5 off that, if that count is correct on that. Let me see. Yeah. And so the only thing that really kind of invalidates this is a drop down below this swing low here at $24. So it's just a bit lower. Excuse me, I was there. So, you know, I think, and, you know, if this is heading up, Bitcoin should go with it. You can notice here we had the top here back in February of 21, right? February this year. If we look here at Bitcoin, that coincides with this right here. So instead of making this little bit extra up here, you know, GBTC did this and then came down. See right here? And so it goes up here and then it comes down. So this one made this move here, but it couldn't quite get down there with it. You know, and it's still possible. I'll be honest with you, I haven't got in here and mapped out all the internal waves. So this could potentially be 3 up here, and then you've got an A and a B. And then you've got this moving down here, you know, some kind of 5 count coming off here. You could have maybe a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C as a 4 flat, and then a 5 right here. You could have that as well. But at the end of the day, the idea is that 3 is done here or here, and this is 4 here, which gives you then a very minimum wave 5 target of 74.20. Now, based on the height of this this channel here, what can we do here? Well, based on the height of the channel, that would be about $30 above the point of breakout, wherever that happens to be. Yeah, so you're finding pretty good close, you know, potential confluence with the target up there as it is. So, you know, again, there's a lot of good possibility in that as you continue higher there. I think this wave 5 is based off, if I remember I did it correctly, if I remember correctly, I did it based off this is the wave 3. So if this is the wave 3 and you've got an A, B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then, you know, your target would be a bit higher here, probably just above that. So probably up here, maybe around 85 or something like that. Nonetheless, though, I think you can probably watch as this signaled the move down. Remember, this was the top here in February. This was February 18th. And so up here, you know, right around that February 21st was the swing high up here. So right in that area is where it went the other way. So this one just finished a bit higher and then came down. So I would definitely watch it if I were you guys. Trying to figure out maybe what's going on with Bitcoin. Definitely give it a watch there on that, all right? Let's see here. So we looked at that. We've looked at that. Let me see here. Whoops. Wrong one. Where am I looking at here? So, you know, every once in a while we'll get idiots on here that, you know, call you a LARPer if they don't care to pay attention to what you're actually saying. Or if you happen to be wrong, heaven forbid if you happen to be wrong, right? So every once in a while I post my trade so that you guys know that I'm not doing that nonsense. This was yesterday. We made about 27. It was a small trade on USD CAD, but I made about $2,700 in about 3.5 hours that morning. And so there's a screenshot of the platform right there, as you can see right here. I think I closed it out at 26.85. So I made sure I took a picture here to show you guys real quick that it was live on that. And then I closed out at 26. Like I said, I think it was 26.85. 26.74.70 was my profit on that. So, you know, but the other reason I did that was because I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to go in large to make money, guys. You just have to trade intelligently. And most of y'all tend to be too, what's the word I'm looking for here? Too impatient at first. Trading is a game of patience, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. Y'all think you want to go in there and scalp and, we're going to make all this money every 15 minutes or something. That's not real life, okay? The algos do that. And the problem is at anything under 4 hours, maybe the hour, but 4 hours definitely. Anything under that, usually your algos are going to take the money out of your pockets. They're built for that quick, short-term trades. But once you get up to an hour or 4 hours or so, then you start increasing the odds that you'll come out ahead of the algo because you've got more wiggle room on there. You're not going to get caught by the drops and the spikes and whatever. But so yeah, when you're doing this, guys, I mean, it's a small position. It was 475,000 units, right? So not a lot. I think that's right around 475. I think it's like right around 10. Is it 10? Let me see here. Yeah. No, 9,000. It's $9,000. So, I made 2,700 basically on $9,000 so almost 30% in 3.5 hours. So again, this is just to show you guys that you don't have to come in with large size to make money. You just have to trade smart. And, it's all about risk management and, and understanding what's going on with the market. But this is stuff we've been doing, I guess for a month and a half now, since last month. So, the USD CAD has been a great trade. It's probably been one of the better ones overall, at least of the more major currencies. It's been a pretty easy trade, and if oil is topped out as I think it may be, and the DXY continues rising, that's a double whammy for the loonie. Because remember, the loonie, if the value of oil is rising, then the loonie gets a boost on its value from that because so much of its revenue for the country, comes in the form of oil exporting. And then so on top of that, if the dollar itself, if oil's dropping, then that's gonna pull down the value of the loonie. And at the same time, if the dollar value is rising, you've got the loonie dropping and the dollar rising. So it's, again, it gives you that bigger, easier longs on there with it. So if we look at oil here real quick, where are we at with oil? Pull this up for you guys. I've got a bad tab there, it looks like. Let's see if we can put it over here with... God dog it. Browser froze up. Let's see if we can bring another browser right on top of it, guys. There we go. We'll just do this. That way we've got this other browser here. There we go. And so there's oil right now. I do believe we're in a decline. I do believe this is wave A. Get this out of your way here. Wave A up here, which means price is likely headed down into the 40s. Which, if any of y'all are looking to, if you pay a lot, if you travel a bit, that'll be good for you. It'll be less expensive to do so. But as you see here, I believe we've got 5 down for 1, ABC up for 2, rejection at 78.6. And then we're coming down. We've dropped below wave 1, which should indicate that we're continuing to head down. It's possible now that we've got 1, 2, 3, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here maybe as your first subwave of wave 3. If so, we'd see this kind of rise up here a bit, but then it shouldn't go above wave 2. The only way this changes, this count right now, is if price breaks out above wave 2. As long as it continues dropping down, you can come up here and then get rejected, head on back down. You've got a minimum wave 3 of 65.43. And like I said, if we've got oil dropping, that's going to pull down the USD CAD value. So it's not everything that makes up the USD CAD, but, the loonie is a commodity currency. Kind of like, well, not kind of, but just like, your Australian dollar, which, price of precious metals like gold and whatnot. If that's rising, that'll be a boost for the Aussie. So again, if this is dropping and the DXY continues to rise, I mean, it makes longing that USD CAD pair, longing that is like a no-brainer with that. Jerry, what's going on? He says extra volume seems to be coming in with the green candles, which is a good sign. Are you talking about on Bitcoin here? Let me kind of zoom back in here real quick. See if we can reset it. There we go. Yeah, we get the volume coming in, right here at the bottom. Again, like I was mentioning earlier, same thing we had in this area. We had that volume kick in. There's interest here. It drops up, comes back down. Interest shows up again. This is probably, it makes a good case for a bottom here. Bullish divergence on the 1 hour. Bullish engulfing candle on the 4 hour. Do we have it on the 1 hour too? Oh, we had a great bullish engulfing candle here on the 1 hour as well. And we've got follow through up. So I think we continue heading up. We'll see what happens. And maybe I'll be wrong on that. But, with what's going on with that right now, it seems like a strong likelihood it'll continue up for a bit. But again, you've got to get through these areas I talked about. Each one becomes the next target as you're moving up there to kind of increase your odds that this may be like a wave 2 here of a flat. Yeah. Edward Park, what's going on? Good to see you checking in. Kimozabi, what's up, man? He says, not about the size of the account. It's all about the process. Which if you have a good process, you can ramp it up infinitely. Then compounding takes over. Exactly what I say, guys, every day. You're trading, and think about this, guys, especially if you're new. If this is your first time here, pay attention. I'm about to give you some knowledge. This is why you come here, right? Listen, you're trading. New traders, when they come in, every trade, their mindset is about each trade individually, okay? Every trade is a new trade that they have to approach, okay? Successful traders create a system that they can apply every time. The system is the same. It's applied every time. It's a rules-based system that works for you. And, some of y'all out there, you think the Holy Grail is finding some system that works for everybody, but there isn't. There isn't a system, a single system that works for everybody. Because what makes y'all, your traders or investors that you are, is different from what makes me or Edward Park there, or Jerry, or Diego, or Hank, or Rasta, or Jack. All of us. We have different current financial and wealth positions. We have different short, mid, and long-term financial and wealth goals. We have different levels of risk tolerance and risk aversion. We have different times of the day that we are actually able to trade. And of that, some of us have, we don't want to trade that whole time. We want to trade a shorter bit of time within that. So all these things determine who you are. And so what you do is you learn how to trade, right? You learn why does the market move like it does? The things that we teach all the time. And then you go and you look, okay, check out Elliott Wave, check out Wyckoff, check out supply and demand structures, check out pivots, whatever you want, and you start getting a gel for it. You start figuring out what makes sense to you. What when it happens, you go, yeah, that makes sense. Because it does, all of it doesn't for most people. Some people, Elliott Wave makes a ton of sense. Other people, Wyckoff makes a ton of sense. Other people, pivots are the way to go. You just need to figure out what works for you. That's why I teach all of that. So that way, because I'm not going to sit there and tell you there's only one way to trade. All of these things lead you to the same place, guys. They all lead you to the same targets. You just have to figure out what works for you. And then you have to practice, guys. You can't just do it for 2 days and half-ass your way through it and expect that it's going to be just fine or if it's not, all of a sudden it doesn't work. That's crypto Twitter. Crypto Twitter cycles, man. I keep bringing up 2017, man. It's because that last 6 months of 2017, basically every other week, crypto Twitter was on some new thing. 1 week it was Wyckoff. Another week it was ICT. Another week it was, another version of supply and demand. Another week it was pivot, and you guys, you're going to lose. And you're just going in and you're not really trying and you're not really putting effort or time into it and you're going to lose your money. All right? Don't let anybody tell you that there's one way that's better than every other way to trade. There is one way that's better than every way to trade, but it's whatever it is that works for you. The idea is to understand and to put the time in. You're not going to learn to trade overnight, guys. That's why we're doing the discount I'm doing right now. That's why I'm doing that. because I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Huge freaking discount. Because I believe that you're going to learn a lot more over the course of the year if you're putting in that time and effort than you're going to learn in a month. I believe that in 1 month you cannot learn how to trade successfully. You can start learning, but it's going to take a while. And so the goal is just to find those things, guys. And then to apply that system that you've developed. And it may be perfect Elliott Wave, or it may be Elliott Wave adding in pivots and or the way that I draw my supply-demand structures. There's, whatever it works for you, you'll figure it out. The goal is to get in there and understand it and to learn it, and then to figure out what makes sense, and then to create a system over time. You will. You'll without even thinking about it, you'll be creating a system that works for you. And then you just apply that system every time. The same system, the same rules-based system. If this happens, you enter here, your stop loss goes here, your take profit goes there. And you just rinse and repeat over and over again. And that's going to be the difference, and all while using good risk management. And that's the difference between being a new retail trader. And yes, if you've been doing this for 3 years and you're just continually feeding money, you're still a new retail trader, okay? You're not consistently profitable. But that's the difference between that and the professionals out there, like myself, the ones that we're going out there and we're making a living doing this every day, okay? So I'm going to tell again, I'm going to tell you, I never tell you what you want to hear because you want to hear it. I will always tell you what you need to hear, the truth. And that's why our membership remains small. We got, 300 plus people, TWC. There's other people out, other things that don't even do a quarter of what we do that have thousands of members because they tell them what they want to hear. They can't deliver because most of the time what you want to hear as a new trader is not the way it works. But, that's the trade-off there. I've never done that. 4 years I've been doing this. I've never sunk to that level. I could have and made a ridiculous killing doing what we do here. But I'm happy with what I make as a trader. It's amazing. I just do this because I get something out of it. When I'm teaching you guys and I get these comments or these messages from you that say, man, what you just taught today, man, that really clicked. I understand that now. Or, man, I had one guy tell me, and I've been doing this with you, Chris, for 8 months, and it didn't. And finally, all of a sudden the other day, it just clicked. All of a sudden, everything you've been talking about for the past 8 months just like that hit me. Man, I'm going to tell you what, guys. I don't do this because I'm just a nice guy. I'm doing this because when you tell me something like that, that makes me feel really, really good. And that drives me to do it. That drives me to do it. I'm not altruistic. I do it because it makes me feel good when that happens. And that's okay because that means y'all get to learn. Right? Let me see here. Polyfarms, what's up? He says, what is going on with Hex? What are you looking at? Hex USDT or Hex Bitcoin? What are you talking about exactly? Let me know. I'll do my best to help we figure it out here. Let me see here. Wait, you mean I can't win a poker tournament by reading a book? Yeah, exactly. Hey there, Mark. Good to see you checking in as always. Oh, COVID shot has you tired and work was busy today. I hope it wasn't that Johnson & Johnson one. I'm not trying to spread FUD or anything here, but if you guys saw Johnson & Johnson, their shot, the FDA just put a warning on it. Not that there's a huge bit of people getting it, but there's what was it? Oh, some neurological disease was recurring. It's a very small amount of people that are getting, very small amount overall, but it's 3 times higher than the usual, which is why the FDA is putting the warning on that. So, if you've got to choose a shot, I don't know that I'd choose Johnson & Johnson, but hopefully it isn't what you got there, Mark. Let me see here. Krill, show a live trade and prove you are profitable, please. Otherwise, why would anybody join you? They join me because I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for 25 years. I showed you a trade result that I posted on Twitter earlier. I mean, my gosh, see, it's comments like that. Anybody can get in there and do, just one trade to be fine. This right here was yesterday. This was almost $3,000 in about 3.5 hours. This is a live shot of what's going on there. All right. At times, I have actually gone through the process. Matter of fact, off the 2018 low, I turned, what was it, guys? Those of you that were with us in Tier 3, I was going through that trade by trade with you guys. What was that? Something like around $200 into 24,000 before we got to the top, the June 2019. But I did a trade by trade play for everybody in Discord. So, you know, you'll have to forgive me for laughing at you, what you were saying there, but what you're saying is kind of silly. Let's see, get this back here. So, yeah, that's why. Because the things I talk about constantly come true. Because the things that I discuss are more about, I'm not sitting here trying to sell you a system. I'm trying to explain to you how the market works. That's why. Okay? So, that's what's going on there, man. But you know what? You're either going to believe me or you're not. Do what you need to do. If you need somebody telling you what you need to hear so you join, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Because all you're ever going to get from me is actually what's going on, the truth. You're not going to get me telling you what you want to hear just to get your money. I don't need it. As I just went through the whole explanation of. I do this because it makes me feel good when people get it and they start trading profitably. That's why. It's not altruistic at all. I like how it feels. Let me see here. Polyfarm says, yeah, any of them. Hex USDC, BTC, or ETH. It's going straight up. Oh, what news is going on? Well, actually, let me pull out a chart here. It might be something in the chart. It usually is. News events are usually just transitory, using Powell's word. Let me jump in here real quick here. Let's see, what's today? The 16th. Whoops, 16th. And I'm sorry, Krill, man. I didn't mean to come off kind of sounding rude there or anything. Your question itself, the way you phrase it, was very argumentative and combative. And, you know, I deal with this stuff all the time. You know, I guess I just, you know, at this point in my life, you know, you've got to figure out how to do things, right? And so, you know, I don't know. I guess with your question there, I could show you anything. I could look. Here's what most people do, guys. Here's what most people do. They'll wait for a perfect opportunity where you've got some sort of setup like a bullish divergence or something. And then they'll go and do a live trade. But it was an easy call, right? It was almost guaranteed, right? And that's what they'll do. And then they'll go, look, I trade so good. And that's all you ever get. If you want to know what I do, look back on my Twitter at TX West Capital. Last month, for weeks, I was pushing out every trade that I was doing with the USD CAD. So, you know, again, proof after proof after proof, guys. But I'm not here to trade for you. That's the thing, okay? Doesn't matter what I do. It matters what you do on there, guys, okay? All right, what's going on here? Yeah, you know me, Hank. I don't usually show my trades, just every once in a while, just to keep the idiots at bay. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to tell you right here, Polyfarms, is this right here, this support right here on the daily pivot, should, and right here around this swing high, that breakout was bound to send this up high. I don't know, maybe, you know, necessarily that high right off. But the first thing I'm looking at right here is that you're coming off this decline here, and then you've got a bounce. You got a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So if I look at this, I'm going maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal, which means this gives you a 1 and then a 2. So I'm expecting a breakout here to be a larger wave 3. You know, wave 3 is your large wave, your strong wave. So I'm looking for a breakout and a move up off that. Now, as high as it went there, you know, there might have been some news or something that jumped in there that kind of gave it a little extra juice. But nonetheless, I would have expected it at least to have gotten up here to at least to 1 point, or to 0011. Oh, I can't even see. Let me see what's that 61A here. At least 0.1176. And if through that, then up here at 1439. And if through that, the 3618 here, it's at 0.17. And look, it hit almost exactly the 4618. That's the next target up, 0.196. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of surprise that it popped up. Maybe that it went as high as it did, that it overextended as much as it did. But just based on this area of the chart right there alone, yeah, I mean, that looks like that was set up to be. Now, the other possibility here, if I haven't looked back here, so I don't know what the count is here, but if this is a 3 and this is a 4 here, it is possible that we've maybe got a triangle going on here. And so it'd be A, B, C, D, E maybe. And that, that could be a thrust out of a triangle as well. But in either case, this bounce here off the pivot, this looks like we've got 5 waves up. We've got a large lower demand wick on this hammer candle here, which is a potential reversal. And then we have follow through. Man, there's no reason that shouldn't have popped up. Like I said, at least around that R2 pivot area. But once it gets through there, then you're just looking at your 618 extensions. 2.618, 3.618, 4.618. And that's exactly where we end up hitting, almost up there. Oh my gosh. It's Krill, you're not listening. How about recording a trade? I could sit there and make multiple trades all day long and just show you the one that was successful and say, look, there you go. You see what I'm saying? You're missing the point. You're asking for things where you're asking to be lied to. You're asking to be lied to. What else do? I put chart requests, every week. And other charts that I put out myself as well. I've got a history of that. All on Discord. Tier 3 sees it all. Lots of money being made. So, I mean, again, you're not understanding your own question. You're asking to be tricked. Doesn't make any sense, right? And you say, okay, well, why don't you just pick a time and go in there and make a trade? Because not every time is tradable. If I say, let's go in there at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, there may not be a trade to make at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. You see how silly that is? What you're asking? But anyway, I've got members right there, and do what you need to do, man. If you're going to be, I don't know, your comment there was you getting nervous. If you're going to say stupid stuff like that, man, we'll just go ahead and block you off here. If you really want to learn, stick around. There's a lot to learn here. I guarantee you'll learn more from me than you will from anybody else out there. Because I do this day in and day out. 25 years now. But if you're going to continue to act like the consummate retail trader that you are right now acting like, I have no reason to continue this with you. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. I don't have a lot of time in my life for people that don't step up and do the things that they need to do. For people that are just out there to find reasons why they need to fail. So it is what it is. We offer a free trial that gets you some of the channels that we have. We have a ton of content. Like I said, we've got multiple people in here that are members of tier 3, especially. Some of the other tiers as well, but especially tier 3, and they'll tell you what's up. It is what it is, man. You got to decide if you're, a decent human being or not, really. That's what you've got to figure out. I don't know how else to say it. A lot of what I say sometimes in that manner comes off to people who haven't advanced that far, who haven't gotten beyond the, oh, everybody's scamming me, oh, I'm a victim kind of mentality. And so there's only so much I can say. You got to step up at some point and take responsibility. Oh, there's no Hex BTC. What was it? USD? No. What was those other hex ones you mentioned there? I want to check and see what the other ones look similar to this here. Polyfans. Let's see. Hex BTC. Yeah, I'm not getting a Bitcoin pair on that. Not on. Yeah, I'm not getting anything other than USDT or USDC. So yeah, I don't know if it's available. I don't trade it myself. I don't know if it's available as a Bitcoin or an Ethereum pair. But if it is, whatever exchange it's on, they're not pumping their info through TradingView at the moment. So yeah. Okay. Let me see here. If I look at this here. Yeah, if I'm looking at this here, I think this may be a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5. This is probably the end up here, guys. So, if not, it's pretty close. By the way, you can also notice on the daily here, we've got this strong advance almost to the R5 pivot. So that usually denotes, an end to an advance around that area most of the time. Your daily RSI there and Stoke RSI. Stoke RSI topped out and overbought. RSI well up here and overbought, above 86. You've got this strong bit of volume at the very top here, which means you've got a lot of supply coming in. Let's see if we look at the weekly. Weekly's just been playing around up here in overbought. Look at that volume for the weekly because of that move. But, weekly, again, we're above the R5 here as well. If that is 5 up or just about, then let's see here. Then we should be looking for a minimal pullback here toward, most likely toward this 0.077579 kind of area. You'll notice that's this previous area of this cluster right here. This is demand. This cluster right here. Whoops. Right there. So getting around that 61.8 is probably where you'll be headed. That's that high volume node right there. Now, if it continues down through there, you've got the next high volume node, which finds confluence at the R5 weekly pivot there, and the 70.5 retracement. And of course, moving back through there, you look at the 78.6. So those would be the 3 targets I'd look at on a pullback right off. Yeah. So let's see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here real quick, what you got saying here. Let's see here. Let me see here. Jerry says, not a member, first time checking you out, or me out. All right. Well, hopefully you're picking up some good stuff here, man. Again, at the end of the day, as I often say, because I'm from Texas, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I'll give you all the information I can give you guys here. It's going to be up to you to figure out what you want to listen to. And most times, if you're a new trader, that's the hardest thing. It's this hardest because you see so much nonsense online, especially online. It's hard to trust people. And so, you end up being cynical. But, that's on you. You got to decide what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. As I continue to say, you guys can definitely learn how to trade for free online. You can. The only problem is if you're new to markets, you don't know you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what's legitimate information and what's nonsense. Most of what you find on crypto Twitter and the rest of social media is nonsense. They're half-truths and sometimes outright lies. Many times it's because the people doing it have just found that they can make a lot of noise online, become an influencer, and then, they can make their money off shilling you stuff or whatever. Other times though, people are, and so they don't know that they really are giving you bad information. The other thing is, a lot of people out there have learned that they just have to tell you what you want to hear. And as long as they tell you what you want to hear, you'll give them money. So why should you listen to me? Because I won't tell you what you want to hear. That's why. That's exactly why. But, again, when you're a new trader, you're in your own head. You think you know more than you do. You think you know what moves markets and why they move, how they do, and all that kind of stuff. And usually you're wrong. That's all. And then, you're too prideful to admit that you don't know what you're doing and to get help. So that's the problem as a new trader coming in, and then with the information you find online. You can do it. You're going to lose a lot of money along the process, listening to bad information, and you have to find it out for yourself that it's bad information. So, with what I do, it's just a thing to help you get where you want to get faster. That's the best way to explain it. It's like anything else you do in life, guys. If you want to get better at it, you get somebody to teach you how to do it, right? You get a coach or a mentor or something like that. Anytime I'm trying to learn something new, that's what I do. But I believe in that. I believe in that style because I don't want to waste money and time. I don't have it myself to waste. So, if that's you too, then you join and it's great. And if not, then you don't join and, you still do what you need to do. That's life, right? Yeah. So, anyway, there we go. I am an ICT charter member. Yeah, I know everybody always is, right? Oh, man. That's usually the end of the day kind of thing too, guys. But, people are going to be who they're going to be. If he was an ICT charter member, he would know that, what is this? Just right now, show you a trade, right? Well, there may not be anything to trade. But then beyond that, there's the issues of security too, guys. Unfortunately, reality is that there's a lot of bad people out there. And you got to be careful what kind of information you show them, what platforms you show them you're trading on, any kind of information. It's hard to block out that private information that they can use to, take over your account. And so, my money's my money. I don't plan on giving it to anybody. But, you guys understand that, I think, right? Let me see here. But anyway, I hope you guys understood that. And I do apologize if I came off kind of rude to him. But, again, the way in which he asked his question is clearly not, he's not an ICT charter member. Not talking like that. Guys, when you're doing a thing, you guys have skill sets in other areas, right? Maybe some of your mechanics, right? And if you're some kind of certified mechanic, you know what kind of questions other certified mechanics ask, right? And how they ask them, right? It's the same idea. Trading's no different. So, people are what they are. Yeah, don't share your personal space for safety. Mark says, I think you're underselling what you do in Tier 3. You more or less condensed your knowledge into an encyclopedia and then go through it in real time. Yeah, Mark's a member. He knows. He'll tell you what's up. But, again, the goal is to disseminate as much my information to as many people as I can because there's so much nonsense that goes on. Those of you that don't know my story, the only reason why I even started Texas West Capital here and doing the education was because when I really got into Twitter back in the beginning of 2017, when I first entered crypto, when I started moving some funds out of Forex into crypto, I saw all the really, really, really bad information out there. And those of you that were back then, you remember all the pump and dump groups and everything. It was awful. And people were getting skewered left and right. And so, I found that people wanted to hear what I did. I gave a call back in probably, I think it was August of 2017. I don't even remember what the coin was. It was that one with the gun registration. What was that called? I can't even remember. And I mentioned that it was going to go up probably 8 to 11 times or 8 to 12 times, I think is what I said. 10 to 12 times, maybe something like that. And it went up, 11 times from where I said to enter, where I said, you should be entering. And that's when people started asking, oh my God, do you, is there somewhere that you can teach this and I can learn or whatever? And that's why we did it. That's my beginning. That's what it is, guys. So, Yes, higher low crypto. Yes, Discord is filled with mature, knowledgeable people. That's the goal, guys. That's what we're always trying to do. Let's get good people in there. Then that makes trading fun. Trading can be so it can be so lonely, you know. And so that's always nice to have that in there. Take a look here at silver. I'm sorry we got kind of caught up in there a bit. Here's silver, guys. Oh man, silver really breaking down this morning. If it takes out the wave 3 swing low here, then we're looking at minimum target down here of 24.625, secondary target of 24.215 here on silver. But again, I want you guys to remember with silver, remember we talked about this. I think we're topped out, we're coming down, but remember, this could be a triangle here. A, B, C, D, E here, okay? So we have to get down below this swing low here at 23.74 to invalidate this triangle. Now that said, we could still have A, B, I guess we could do A, B, C here as C. But really, I think, and then we'd have to get below this swing low. We get below wave A over here at 21.81. There's definitely no triangle forming at that point. But for right now, it could still potentially be a triangle. If we're looking here on the daily, notice here on the daily, this is what's important, I think. Look how we dropped down. We have this hard drop here on heavy volume, right? And then we moved up and we moved sideways between, remember, this is pivots is what was all I traded for a few years. So, I've got a big pivots background. But when you move in sideways between the pivot and the S1 like this, and you go up and you get rejected that pivot, 90+% of the time, you're going to come all the way down to the S1 at least, if not further. So this rejection here should lead us down toward this S1 pivot. And then either it'll bounce and break out above the pivot, or it might bounce a little bit and it'll continue lower. And if it continues lower, then you can look at your S2. But man, if you lose that S2, you're probably going all the way down to your S5. Now, this is the daily. We're halfway through the month, so we're not going to see this moving all the way down to the S5 at the end of this month. But when you're trading pivots and you're coming in sideways between the pivot and the R1 or the pivot and the S1, and you retest that pivot, and you bounce and head through the R1, or you test it and you get rejected, you're going to head down there, and then you're going to potentially head lower usually. From there, Stoke RSI on the daily here is crossing bearishly as it dipped into overbought, curl back down, out of overbought again. So we should be seeing at least some further downside, if not below the swing low, at least locally, to do it there. So yeah, but again, shorter term here, near term on this, I do believe we're working on this wave 5 of 3 right now, heading down there. Yeah, you just heard my origin story. Yeah, exactly. Let me see here. Man, I'm glad you guys really see. This is why I love the fact that we don't necessarily have thousands of members, because I can't help but feel if we had thousands of members, that there would be a lot more nonsense that goes on in Discord, stuff that I'm trying to keep out of there. A lot of the emotional posts, the shilling, stuff like that. And so, yeah, want to keep all that out of there. So I'm glad you guys are chiming in here talking about the content and everything, because it does, it tells it what's up. I can say what I want all day long, but people like that other person there that came in just aren't going to get it, or they're not going to want to hear it. And I get that. But those of you that are in it, if you're talking about it, it lets them know what you personally think. And as I always say, most of our members have been with us for years now. And I mean, you're not going to continue paying for something that you don't believe that you're getting value out of. That's probably, that's got to be the biggest selling point right there, I think. But what do I know? I'm just a guy that does a thing, right? Let me see here. Oh, I may have missed your question. I'm sorry, Jerry. What question did I miss you ask there, buddy? Hey, Boris, good to see you checking in, man. Let me scroll up here and see if I can find Jerry's question here. I'm sorry, Jerry. Where's your question there, man? Well, Jerry, if you can ask that question again, or if somebody else can pop it in there, I appreciate it. I'd love to answer it. I missed it there. If asked if I'm just TA or fundamentals as well. So really, Jerry, yeah, that's a great question, man, because there are two sides to trading, okay? There are two groups out there. You've got technical analysts and you've got fundamentalists, okay? I really trade based off charts. I'm a firm believer that what's happening in the market is just a representation of what is going on with people in general. How does society feel? Okay? And so, Prechter termed it socioeconomic theory, which I came to find out later. But yeah, the market is a representation of people, of their movement between fear and greed. Okay? And so most of what people call fundamentals are attempted reasons why price needs to do A, B, or C, based upon their beliefs about value. As you guys may constantly hear me talk about, value is what happens, or price is what happens at the moment of exchange. You'll hear a lot of people out there say, well, so-and-so is undervalued or so-and-so is overvalued. And that makes no sense at all. Because as long as people are willing to buy it, it's not overvalued. As long as people are not willing to buy it, it's not undervalued. People are going to buy what they're going to buy, and you're going to sell what you're going to sell, and eventually that price is going to come together when the buyers and the sellers believe that price is where is that value at that time. But it only lasts the time of that one sale. After that, price is whatever it is. Price is constantly evolving. Okay? And so fundamentals takes a lot of that off that, and they try to do, they try to base it on these, on their personal thoughts of what value to attribute to a thing. And then they try and do mathematical things, which this is why you often find out that the fundamentals often are wrong, right? Fundamentalists will say price should go down here or go up here or whatever. Now, what else do I do is I do understand, again, in terms of what, understanding that the markets, the prices are driven by the way that people feel at the time. And so I study people. And what that means is, I have an understanding of how, I've got my macroeconomics background. I've got my, public finance background, all these things. But the way in my expectations of what's going on are different often than what you're being fed by the Fed. Because, again, the Fed has to make you believe that things are the way that they see it. Jay Powell keeps talking about, inflation is transitory, right? And all this. You have to believe it. If you don't believe it, you won't continue doing the things you need to do for him to eventually be correct in the things that he's trying to do overall. Okay? So the Fed talks a lot. But the results of what they're doing often are not the same things what they're saying. And, if you see and you go, oh, look, the Fed's printing all this money, so there's all this inflation. Well, you say there's inflation because prices are going up. Well, prices don't inflate or deflate. Prices rise and fall, okay? And one of the things that determine whether those prices rise and fall are, does the money supply inflate or deflate, okay? But where does the money supply inflate? Can prices rise without money inflation? Sure. We're seeing it right now. Money does not inflate at the Fed level. Money inflates when banks create loans. That's reserve banking, okay? So what happens with the Fed is they affect asset prices with QE, but that doesn't affect overall, which is why, as I've shown before, when we go to the Fed site, you can see that, that like loans and everything have been decreasing, right? And so if loans are decreasing, that the banks are giving out, then that is necessary deflationary, or at the least disinflationary on the money supply, because you're not creating new. And if everybody's paying off loans, which they've been doing, we've been showing that as well, that has a deflationary effect, because when you send the money back into the bank, it's out of circulation. You've paid off your debt. Money goes back in. It's not circulating. The banks could have all this money in the world sitting in their vaults, but if nobody's getting it, if they're not loaning it out, if nobody's taking out loans, nobody's getting it, it has no effect on prices. But again, what is crypto Twitter and the rest of social media tell you? Oh, look, the Fed inflated its balance sheet by this much. Inflation. But they don't understand why asset prices are inflating right now, or why they've been for the last year, and all that is. So I use what I know in terms of all that to help me get a focus on what may be happening on the larger term on the chart. Which is why I think that we may have the bottom for the DXY for the dollar back in January, the macro bottom there. Now, it's not confirmed yet technically on the charts. We need to get above that 94.63 or 74 level. But, you know, based on those other things that I understand for how things work, it seems to me that it's likely in. But until we get the technical levels taken out, you know, I could be wrong. So yeah, I trade based on the charts because you don't have to worry about all the other nonsense if you trade based off the charts. But to get my bigger idea wrapped around where things may be, that's what I'm doing there. Hopefully that makes sense. Hank's our mid-80s guy for the DXY. And, you know, again, I give Hank a hard time because he puts himself there. You know, he constantly mentions that mid-80s. But, you know, again, I can't say it's not going to happen because the technical levels haven't been breached yet. So it's still possible, as we've talked about. Yeah, until, you know, really until we start getting above those technical levels. Yeah. Jerry, it does? Okay, man, great. Glad it does. Higher or Low Crypto says, I signed up for a Signal site before signing up with TWC. I ended up using it for training versus taking the calls blindly. So I examine each one of the calls on the chart as I go through Chris's educational videos. That's helped me a lot. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Yeah. Just remember, guys, if you're always looking for somebody to tell you where, you know, where to enter and exit, what happens when they're not there anymore? I mean, that's the first thing. I could have a heart attack tomorrow. You know, or, you know, you all know what's happened here recently with my brother-in-law. You know, he passed away last month, COVID related, you know, in his 40s, a little bit younger than me. You know, and it caught everybody by surprise that he did. You know, he was in the hospital for months, though. And, you know, what if that happens or something, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that just kind of brings it all back to, you know, that kind of thing can happen, whether it's that or something else. So if you're basing your future on somebody else telling you where to buy or sell, that person may not always be around to do it. What if they just go on vacation? And they don't tell you where to sell, and then it goes up and you should have sold, but then it drops way back down, you end up losing money. But even beyond all that, even if somebody's telling you where to buy or sell, you have to understand proper risk management. You're just going to go all in, and it's going to come back against you a little bit. It's going to knock you out, and then it's going to take off and go. Tell me you haven't had that happen before, guys. There's so many reasons why you should learn to trade for yourself, and that's why everything we do at TWC is education-based. Yes, we have charts. Yes, we have targets and things. But the education that we do there helps you to understand why my stop losses and targets are where they are in that. I don't know that there's a better way to learn, honestly. So, it is what it is. What's going on? Tell you, Ryder, checking in late, man. I'm embarrassed, man. You need to leave tier 3, man. Embarrassing me like that coming in so late. I'm just kidding, man. So USD CAD, this is what I want to talk about on the USD CAD. This has been just making money for the last month here, right? Let's zoom out here a bit. Let's go out to the daily. Look at this right here. Look at that beautiful rounded bottom here. Look at, I mean, guys, they don't usually come this pretty right here. And this has been a great move up. This right here, I believe, is the 50 EMA I've got on here. Yeah. This got the 50 EMA. And so those of you in tier 3, you see the trade, right? And you know why, right? Because we talked about this technique this week or last week. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, the trade was there. I mean, but look at, it's such a beautiful, just rounded bottom there. So we'll see if we continue to get up through here, but, you know, we're making our way up there. From a pivot standpoint, We broke in between the R1 and the pivot, pulled back to the pivot, retested we tested as support, successful test, hit the R1, pulled back to this previous resistance, tested as support, broke out now. So, I mean, this right here, everything else aside, suggests to me that there's a much more significant possibility that the price is going to continue higher overall. It may pull back in the meantime and head up, but overall it's going to continue up, that this was a bottom here, then not. Just by looking at what's going on right here. Now, again, nothing's guaranteed. You can't guarantee anything. But the moving in sideways, the test of the pivot, the breakout, the rejection of the R1, reusing this resistance as support, and now breaking out above again, that should have price overall heading up higher there. And so that then takes us above, we've got this high volume node over here. Kind of bring this in here. And then you get your real big high volume node up here around 133 almost, 1.33. Now here's the other thing on this, guys. Let me show you this. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on here. But I want you to pay attention to what's going on here. It looks like we've got 5 up for 1, 3 down for 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 1 of 3. And then we have an ABC down and an ABC up. So now I'm going to turn everything off so you can see a little bit better here. ABC down, ABC up, and then 5 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it ends right here where this previous wave A is. This tags just about every box you need for a flat correction right here. And so if this is a flat correction, then price should be heading up higher. But again, ABC down, ABC up, 5 down, terminates at the previous low there of this range, of this flat correction where wave A is. I mean, that really kind of sets it up for that move up. It bounced here off the S1 pivot on the weekly as well. Again, strong point. But, that's just there because of this area here. Let me see here. Signing up for calls was a big waste of money before you started this training. That was when I believed I was going to be rich in 2 days from watching crypto Twitter. Everybody goes through it, man. The one thing I love to tell you guys is, we all think the same thing when we first start as traders. We all have these, we think we understand how the market works. We all think of it works the same way. We all think we're going to be rich in, overnight. You guys know I lost tons and tons of money for about 4 or 5 years before I finally just said, listen, I just need to figure out what's going on here really. What is really, and that's when I became a student of the market. But yeah, so the good thing is we all think that way, which means you're not special. And you don't want to be special in that way. You don't want to be the only one thinking that. And so the good thing is, because you're not special in that regard, that means you can forgive yourself and you can move on. Too many traders get stuck in the whole not forgiving themselves, blaming everybody else, all these things. And you can't move on like that. Just in life. It's the same exact way in life, guys. You cannot move on from things that have hurt you if you don't let it go. And letting go as human beings is one of the hardest things it is for us to do. So like in life, like I keep telling you guys, how you view life is going to affect how you view the charts. If in life, if you always feel like you're a victim, if you always feel like you can't seem to get anything right, that life's just kicking you in the nuts all the time, ladies, if you're listening, I'm sorry for putting it that way, but again, seriously, if people are feeling that way, it's hard to see that you could have success as a trader. You may want to have it, but you don't see it because you're going to believe that you don't have that belief that you can make things happen, that you can change things. You feel like you're always at the behest of whatever else is going on. The world is going to move and it's going to do what it's going to do regardless of what you do, that you're always stuck like that. So the first thing to do, just in general, is just to lose the idea that you're a victim in life, guys. Things happen. They happen because of decisions we make and decisions that others make. But at the end of the day, they happen. And once they're done, they're done. You have to let it go. You have to let it go. You have to believe that you have some kind of control in your life, that you can make things happen, that you can change things. Because otherwise, why would you think that you could come in here and make money? You have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to do these things, right? And you can. I absolutely believe it, guys. But you have to, honestly, within yourself, you have to accept that and internalize it. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be fighting the stuff that you don't have to fight. You're fighting yourself. And as I continue to tell you, your biggest challenge as a trader is getting beyond yourself. It's your own emotions. It's your own thoughts. It's not the other guy out there. Trading is not a zero-sum game. I've got friends who believe it is. Some of them make some pretty good money as traders. But they believe that in order for them to win, somebody must lose. That's incorrect. If I get out where I plan to get out and take my profit, and I'm making money, and price continues to move on without me, I didn't lose. I followed my plan. I made money. I won. Just because somebody else got in there and continued up from there doesn't make them a winner and me a loser. Okay? If price comes against me and it hits my stop loss, I'm not a loser. The stop loss is part of the system. It tells me that the way I viewed the chart at that time is incorrect and I need to be out. That's just part of the game. You're going to lose money in trading. You have to get comfortable with that. Not with losing it just to lose it, but with losing it intelligently. In other words, good risk management, proper stop loss placement. Okay? But trading is not a zero-sum game. Nobody has to lose in order for you to win. Theoretically, you could have everybody winning. Everybody getting out when they want to get out according to their system and getting in where they want to get in according to their system and just matching up. Excuse me. With the help of market makers providing the liquidity when those aren't there. But yeah. So everybody can, do that. You don't have to have a loser to be a winner. Now, a lot of times, especially if you're retail, you're going to be losing money. But you have to get beyond that. You have to learn how the markets work like they do, how to trade them properly. What do things really mean? And most retail traders don't do that. Again, that's why they're out within 90 days. 94+% of new retail traders are out in the first 90 days, having lost everything. Because they never get to that point. All right? Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. TV Canal, what's up, man? Good to see you. Boris says, well, one thing I can guarantee, that TWC Tier 3 is awesome. Boris always shows up for our weekly streams that we do 3 times a week for Tier 3. Yeah. Let me see here. Hank says, USD CAD looks a lot like the Bitcoin USDT inverted chart, rounded bottom and all. It also looks a lot like, if you look at it there, it looks a lot like, let me get it put on here, DXY, right? Oops. Look at that. Look at how much the orange line is the DXY. Look at that. Now, why is that? Well, obviously because, the USD CAD is part of the weighted basket that makes it up there. But it's a small part overall. But generally, look at that. Yeah, general areas of reversals. All set up right here. So, again, looking at what we have here with what we have with the DXY, this is a little bit cleaner look to what the DXY is here. So, again, kind of gives you that thought that we've still got this, again, what I was talking about with the DXY here is this expanded flat. Potentially, right? Or you've got with the DXY, you've potentially got, like a wave 4 here. And then this is a 1-2 of wave 5. With the USD CAD, I think it dropped below the swing low here. Let's see here. That's 2613. 20068. Yeah. So you've got a lower low here. So this would necessarily have to be a flat. Here with the DXY here, it's possible, could be a flat, or it could be this, like I said, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. Get ready to head up there. And then you look at the bottom here, you got this nice rounded bottom here on the CAD, on the USD CAD, and you've got a possible double bottom here on the DXY. Don't forget, this double bottom on the DXY here, if we pop up above this swing high right here, that will confirm this as a possible double bottom right here, which gives us this target up there, I think, of around, I think it was around 97 or so, wasn't it? Let me see here. Let me zoom out here a bit in the daily. Yeah, see, there it is right here. It gives us a target up here of about 97.625 or 626, which takes us above this wave 4 right here at 94.742. That's the level we need to get above right there. But it's hard to, I mean, you can argue that it's not bottomed out, but it looks like a pretty good Adam and Eve kind of double bottom going on here. Still need that breakout above here, though. And then above that swing high. But definitely a possible double bottom going on here. Breaking up above 93.437 will, should give us a pattern target there of 97.626, which, as you can see here, it just takes you into this next cluster, this wave 2 up here, where you would expect it to go. So yeah. Let me see here. Kind of catch up with you guys here. Oh, let me see. Let me see. I saw a question here about Michael Saylor, I think. Oh, Tellurrider says, in regards to Bitcoin, listen to Scott's podcast with Saylor yesterday. Interesting. He is not trading and not considering any fiduciary responsibility to shareholders of MSTR. So no stop loss for Mike. Yeah, you got to hope that he's right. I mean, guys, I've been doing this a long time. Michael Saylor is not a trader. And this is one thing you guys are also going to have to understand. A lot of these big names you follow online, they're not traders. Pomp, Jason, that's with him, these guys are not traders. These guys are business people. They develop businesses. So my advice would be, don't take trading advice from people like that. I mean, why would you take, if you wanted to become a professional pianist, right? Why would you take advice from somebody who is not playing the piano all the time successfully? You wouldn't, right? Just some bloke off the street that has that's never played the piano a day in their life, and that you're going to listen to them tell you how to play the piano? Don't, guys, but you do that, right? Because they're the big guys making a lot of noise in crypto Twitter. And everybody's got, dollar signs in their eyes, right? So Bitcoin has to go up all the time, right? So you're going to find people that fit your echo chamber. If you're a trader, you don't want that. You don't want people that are going to just be an echo chamber. Because it's easy to get caught up in the ideas yourself. You need to have somebody telling you the other side of that. Somebody preferably who knows what they're doing, so that you can at least have information that you can be open to listening to if you're going to be open to listening to it. That's the other thing. Most new traders aren't open to listening to anything that kills off their emotional response. But you have to get through that, guys, if you want to be successful traders. You absolutely have to. Okay? Let me see here. Look at the Euro USD weekly. One very nice head and shoulders. Might wipe out your DXY expectations. Yeah, for those of you that don't know what Hank was talking about there. So the DXY is made up of currencies, of other currencies. There's a weighted value with these other currencies, okay? And that weighted value depends on, again, how much each of those currencies contribute to the value of it. So the Euro USD, that DXY value, which right now sits at 92.63627 there, the Euro USD contributes about 50, I don't even know what it was, like 57% of that weighted value. The second largest one is the USD yen, which fits about 11%. And then you have things like the Swissy involved in there. It's like 4%, you know, the Great British Pound, about 4%, something like that. So, you know, much more minor. But yeah, your two big ones are your Euro USD and your USD Yen. So if you want to know what the dollar is going to do, you want to watch what those two are doing. But the Euro USD is going to be a pretty close match to what's going on with the Dixie. It looks like Hank's talking about this as a possible head and shoulders here. Let me do this here quick. Instead of marking up my chart that I have for Discord, let's see here. Let's see if we can just mark up a different chart. All right. So if I do this, we'll get out here. If this is a large head and shoulders, which it's possible it could be, for those of you that don't know, that head and shoulders is going to look like this right here. You've got your left shoulder, your head. Ooh, look at that. Hank calling out that head and shoulders, man. Look at that. They're right there. I'll break down through this neckline. Should signal the head and shoulder completion. That'll give you a pattern target based off the height of the head here of 704 pips on the breakdown. Now that doesn't mean that that's all it has to do when it goes up. That could be all it does, and then it turns around and goes back up. But, you know, if this is a head and shoulders here, there's your target on the breakdown, 704 pips below that. That's a good money short there. You can see that it takes you, look where it takes you in terms of activity there, right there. You see this area, this area right here that works as resistance and support? Takes you right into that. So if you're losing that, that really starts making the case for it to head lower down on that there. Scary shampoo. Yeah, I mean, oh, head and shoulders, scary shampoo. I got you. It took me a minute to get the joke. I got it. Lord have mercy. Can't believe I put myself through this. But as far as the daily goes here, I mean, look, we're up here and overbought. You know, so I mean, you can get a bounce here, but I wouldn't expect it. If we're headed down here, any bounce I would expect to probably just find resistance here at the pivot. So, I mean, maybe you can get like 5 waves down or almost down here. And then, of course, you get that move back up. See, that 50% is right about there. I think we might have a bit lower to go on that at least. I think we'll be looking closer to this swing low down here, so maybe that S1 pivot. And then it gives you the 50% right here at the pivot. So you might just get a short pullback to this high volume node if we get down to the S1 here, to the high volume node here around this 1.1843 kind of area as a short wave 2 and then further down. Or you could see it heading up back here toward this 50% kind of area and heading back down. But here's the thing. If this is this is a head and shoulders, we'll probably see it dip below this swing low here a bit. And then what we should see, if it comes below this, is something like maybe this right here, and then the move back up to the neckline, and then the move down. It shouldn't break back up into the pattern here if the head and shoulders is legit and it's done there. It should just push back up to the resistance and come back down. But if it rallies from where it's at here, you know, we could see it, again, heading up here. You know, 23.6, 38.2 probably is where I'm thinking, right here at this swing high, right there before the pivot. And then it would break down below the line there. So, yeah. Yeah, always retest the neckline most of the time. Always most of the time, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's where, I wouldn't look at shorting the Euro USD right now where we're at. I would wait to see, do we get the push up and then down? If you get this move up here and it's in 3 waves, what you would expect to see, let me kind of get this out of the way here. If this is going to be a 1 and then you're going to break up here, it's going to be A, B, C kind of thing. And where you would short, oh my gosh, can't even get that done there, is right here. wherever that, you'll have one wave up, you'll have a pullback, and then a third wave up. And when you break down below that pullback, right here, that's where you would short. You don't have to wait for the pattern itself to break down. If this is up in 3 and it comes back down below this, then this is locked in as corrective, as 3 waves. And we should head further down after that. But of course, you can wait till you break down with the pattern as well. But this will get you an earlier entry. I don't see any reason here, at least not on the larger time frames, to short right here. It could fall down first and then recheck and then go. Or like I said, it'll go up here first, break down. And I've got this here like this, but, basically, you get your 3 waves up, and then it breaks down, and then it'll recheck that neckline, and then it'll go down, usually. So either way, you should get a check of this neckline. So, yeah. So, yeah, but, guys, again, I talk about the impatience of new traders, and, that's a lot of where your problems are, guys. Most of y'all, most of the time, or at least half the time, can usually figure out which direction the trend's going. It's just that you jump in the middle before there's a confirmation of a continuation, and then you jump in heavy, and a lot of times you'll add on as much leverage as possible, and so then it pulls back against you a bit and knocks you out, and then it takes off and goes in the other way because you're impatient. That's emotional. You're scared you're going to miss out. With Bitcoin, here's what I keep telling you since we're getting near the end here. Let me tell you something, guys. Discord, what I tell our members is, you don't have to buy this low here to be successful. If this is the swing low here and you're not in yet, give it some room. Give it a few $1,000s of room to breathe and break out. Let it get above the swing high here, because if this is the bottom, you're going up to 75, 90, 130,000, maybe 180,000. You're going up a large bit. A few $1,000s right here isn't going to kill you. But what will kill you is if you keep entering before it breaks out, for instance, here, or here, or here, or even here, depending on where your entry wants to be. Again, had you longed in this area, you would have lost money, right? Had you longed without getting this breakout above the pivot here, you didn't, or the descending channel EQ, like this comes off here, this is good. If you didn't wait for a pullback and then a breakout above that swing high, you just longed it, guess what? You lost money again. You have to be smart about your entries, guys. You can't be jumping in just to jump in. And so it's all about the bigger picture. If you're thinking about that long potential 100K plus top that may or may not happen, if you're thinking about that, then give yourself some breathing room. Let price action on the larger time. You're talking about a large way. Use a larger time frame. Wait for the breakout on the larger time frame, guys. Wait for that. If I'm thinking of 100 grand or something like that, an entry for that, you know where I'm waiting, guys? I'm waiting for a breakout minimally. I might be interested in the breakout of this descending channel, but really, I want the swing high that's just above the pivot. And that just happens to be the one we have to get above anyway. This 36,643.20. I want to see an impulsive breakout through this, through the descending resistance, through the pivot, through that swing high. And I'm going to start feeling pretty good about it. But I'm still going to be cautious because we still have to then get above this wave 4 and then above the top of the range here, which is this swing high up here at about 42,559. But my entry doesn't come down here at the bottom if I'm thinking of 100 grand. I'm zooming out to the daily and giving my trade some room to breathe. By the way, notice on the daily here, we're about to cross bullishly. They're an oversold. And this move right here, bullish divergence right here, that I believe we've confirmed with this move up. So we got this move up, so now we just need to break out higher again. So there's no reason to have to get in there other than to just put yourself in some pain if it goes the other way. I think it's making a good case for it to go up from here. But until we get through that other stuff, it doesn't matter what I think. That isn't how you trade. You trade, you enter on your validation levels. You exit on your invalidation levels. That's how you trade. Not what you think or what you want to happen. Okay? Um, what did I come in on? Telluride or TZOIS, dude? Let me see here. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm just looking here. Chemo Zombie said, yeah, the euro is 57.6% of the DXY. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think the USD yen is around 11.2%, somewhere around that. But those are your two biggest contributors to the value of the DXY. So if you see your Euro USD dropping and your USD yen rising at the same time, you have to understand that as far as the value of the dollar goes, they are exerting 56 plus 11. So basically 67% of what's going to happen to the DXY. That's well more than half, right? That's almost 3/4, right? Definitely over 2/3. So pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on with the Euro USD and the USD yen pairs. Okay? Yeah. Let me see here. So, I mean, this is where we're at, guys, here. And this is why I don't guarantee you. I've never guaranteed to this day. I've been doing this live stuff now since 2018. My apologies to those of you that have been following that long. But I've never guaranteed that price was going to do one thing or other. Sometimes I've been a little more a little more sure in my head that it was than not. And some of those times I've been right, other times I've been wrong. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're thinking or what I'm thinking. It matters what, where those validation and invalidation levels are. And that's why all the charts that I do for tier 3 or even, Bitcoin or, the updates that I do that tier 2 get, access to, I'm always saying, here's what I'm looking at. And I go into explanation. And I say, if it breaks out through here, there's my validation level, then I'm looking for price to likely go there. However, if it drops below this other level, then it's invalidated. The count's invalidated. And what that means to you as a trader is if you're getting in with those particular thoughts in mind, you already know exactly where your entry is, where your exit is, and where your take profit should be. And those things, sometimes the charts, need to be updated because counts morph into other counts. But at the end of the day, your reason for entering, when I have something on there, there's a reason I say that above this level, that I think it's doing this, and below that level that it's probably doing another. Or at least that it's, invalidating what I'm looking at the time. So, we have all that. But my hope, as always, is that people aren't just joining for buy-sell signals. We've had such, stocks. We have killed it on stocks over the last year. I mean, if you've been with us, hundreds and thousands of % return on multiple stocks, multiple stocks, right? But we've had losses too along the way. And we've had charts that just didn't work out. We say, okay, well, it has to get through this level, and it never actually makes it through that level. But at the end of the day, we've got a great track record with our charts. It's just no matter what they are, you can't just assume that they're going to work this way or that. You've always got to pay attention to your risk management, which is why we teach that. Because it's the most important thing you guys are going to do as traders every day. All right, guys? Hank thinks someone's just painting the biggest bear trap on the Euro USD. He wants his mid-80s. Well, didn't you tell me you got a lot of euros to convert to dollars? You don't want your mid-80s. Oh, I'm kidding. Of course you want your mid-80s. But we'll see what happens. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm not married to the idea that it has to go up. I think, as I've shown you guys and discussed, there's a lot of reasons why it's potentially bottomed. But again, until we get through, the levels we need to get through, until we're getting through this wave 4 up here, there's still a good chance we could fall lower. And locally, we have to get above this one. If we can't even make it above this swing high here, this could be just a large 1-2 of the 5th wave coming down. If we break out above that, that increases confidence that this count is correct. We break out above here, significantly more confidence added to it. But until we do those things, we can still fall back down. And even after that, we could still fall back down. But it's just, again, trading isn't about guaranteeing and knowing what's going to happen. It's about finding evidence, real logical evidence, not emotional evidence, to support your position and your reasoning for why you think what's going on is going on. Remember, one of the things I've talked about is often this pair, you'll get the reversal at the beginning of the year. And so, of course, this happens right here at January 6th. We also talked about the fact that how at this point, the sentiment, the traders were so off sides. They were like 80% short. And historically, every time we get to that level, 80, 90%, the DXY flips and goes the other way. And so, those were some other things that weren't chart related that were going on that, could add to the possibility that this bottoms in. But I still couldn't guarantee, as good as this looks right now, and, I have to admit, this looks really good. I can't guarantee it. But once we're starting to get above this swing high and then this swing high up here, starts adding more and more confidence, stronger confidence to the, the idea that the bottom's in here and we're going above 100. So, what might make that happen? U.S. economy is running red hot. Jay Powell says, well, we're not going to touch interest rates for a while. BS. He thinks they can manipulate it with the yield curve right now, and he's not having too good luck at it right now, which is why you're getting all this weird bond stuff going on. I've been talking for a few months now that he is likely going to have to, based on what real rates are and everything, that he's going to have to raise interest rates, even though he's saying he's not going to. This is the same way that back, 2018 or so, like around August, the Fed had came out and they said, well, we're going to raise interest rates 5 times over the next year. And I was on live stream there, remember, guys, and I told you, I said, no, it's not going to happen. I said, this is the top. I said, they're going to drop rates. And sure enough, they didn't raise it at all after that. They dropped it and got us to where we are now. And I think that same thing's coming in here. I think it's just, again, it's reverse. I think he's going to be forced to raise rates, whether he wants to or not. He doesn't want to. And why is that important for the dollar? Because if the interest rate is rising, that means you get paid more money by loaning out those dollars. So people flock to the higher interest rate paying currencies. They want those to have them to loan out because you can make more money off them. So, it increases demand, which increases price, which increases demand, which increases price, and you get this self-fulfilling prophecy until it isn't anymore. So, yeah. Converting USD to euro. Okay, gotcha, Hank. Gotcha. But anyway, guys, so there you go. I'm sorry about the person earlier that came in, and my goal was hopefully to help him see beyond the nose in front of his face, but he chose not to. It is what it is, guys. I keep telling you. Sometimes you guys, you message me and you say, well, if you're teaching all this stuff, isn't everybody going to learn how to trade well and then you won't be able to make any money? No, because most people are like he is. Most people are like he is, unfortunately. And they'll never learn. They're never open to it. They're going to lie and tell you that they've got some big certification and chartered member. And it's just a bunch of nonsense. And so it is what it is. Most people are going to be that way. Very few people. I sit here and talk. I could talk to 10,000 of y'all, and I don't have any expectation that more than 1%, maybe 0.5% of y'all are really going to listen. Like, really listen. But I go out there and talk about it anyway, because every person that does listen, that ends up becoming more successful because they listened, again, guys, I'm not altruistic. That makes me feel good. I do it because it makes me feel good. And I like to feel good. It is completely selfish reason why I do what I do here. But that doesn't matter to you, right? Because at the end of the day, what you're hoping to do is learn. I don't care that the person who invented refrigeration or indoor plumbing was doing it because they wanted to make money. I don't care. I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful, man. I live in Texas, man. It gets hot in the summer. I'm glad I've got air conditioning and indoor plumbing. So yeah, it's all about the way you look at the world, guys. And the way you look at the world, the way you look at life every day is how it's going to translate into what you're seeing in the charts. So do yourself a favor, take a deep breath, forgive yourself for the things that have happened to you in the past, and understand that you do have control over your future, that you can make things happen, that you can change your lot in life. All right? Understand that you can do that. You can. I promise you, you can. But you have to believe it. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are correct. Okay? Your brain is going to believe what you tell it. So believe that you can do something about it and then get out there and do it. I promise you the charts will look so much different if you do that. You know, people say, oh, karma and all this stuff. And you know what all this stuff is? All this means is if you act a certain way, you're going to draw to people who feed on that. So if you're a total jerk to people in real life, you're going to draw to you people who are going to be jerks. If you're helpful and you're gracious and you're humble, these things will draw the benefits of that. It's not that all of a sudden there's going to be opportunities. It's just all of a sudden you're going to see those opportunities. Okay? Same way with the charts, guys. I promise you. The only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's it. So risk management is absolutely where it's at. Like I said, guys, we would absolutely love for you to join us. We do so much over TWC, but really at the end of the day, a lot of these people you've seen talk on here, you know, they're members, and they're what makes it so special, guys. I'm just a guy that does a thing. Seriously. And I hope to help you do that thing better than what you've done it. But at the end of the day, it is the people that I think make what we do so great. So we'd love to have you there. Use the code 50% off Tier 3 that I posted at the beginning of the video. If you haven't seen it, just go to the beginning of the video, look in the chat. There's the code on there. You can get 50% off our 6-month or our yearly Tier 3 subscription. Because guess what, guys? You're not going to learn to become a great trader overnight. You're not going to learn it in a month. You'll start learning, but it's going to take some time. So I'm willing to give you a huge discount so that you're in there and hopefully applying it and learning and going through all the educational stuff that we have and asking questions and all that great stuff. All right? Man, you guys are great. Thanks so much for joining in. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Remember to get away the charts every once in a while, guys. You need to clear that stress out of your head. Again, it will affect you. It'll give you clearing that stress out will give you a better way to look at the charts too. You'll see more opportunities. That said, I will see you all on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So hopefully you can join in. Follow me on TX West Capital on Twitter, all right? Take care.